You know, we could all use some encouragement. And I've got some good news for you. Welcome to 5 Minutes with Mark. Well, greetings, friends, and welcome back to 5 Minutes with Mark. We're going to pick up the story, Gospel of Mark, chapter 14, at verse 10. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went to the chief priest to betray him to them. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money. So he sought how he might conveniently betray him. Let's stop right there. Remember last time, and let's look at the Gospel of John. It's pretty interesting. It's Gospel of John, chapter 12, and it's verse 3. Then Mary took a pound of very costly oil of spikenard, anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the fragrance of the oil. But one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, who would betray him, said, "Why was this fragrant oil not sold for 300 denarii and given to the poor?" This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief and had the money box and used to take what was put in it. So that's John telling us who the person of Judas really was like. We know that Mary anoints Jesus with the oil of spikenard. That could have been sold for 300 days. That's a year's wage almost, 300 days, right? That's a lot of money. And Judas is indignant. And John says it's not because he cared anything about poor people, it's because there's a lot of money. He was motivated by money, apparently. And it said, at that point, that's the moment that he decides to betray Jesus. I think that's really interesting. It's this moment. We struggle with the character of Judas because as much as we want him to be the bad guy, and he is the one, the inside party who's going to betray Jesus, and he's going to do it for money. They were glad that they promised to give him money, and he sought how he might conveniently betray him. Judas, he's just a complicated character. So, how do we process that? How do we process someone who has seen the miracles, heard the teachings, been loved by Jesus, chosen to be one of his 12 closest associates, and he decides, because Jesus reprimands him when he gets indignant about Mary dumping an entire bottle of oil of spikenard on Jesus as a preparation for his burial, an extravagant demonstration of love, Judas is angry. He wants the money. And he says, all right, that's it. That's it. People try to come up with some kind of motivation for Judas, that he loved Jesus, but he was just trying to force Jesus to take a stand. His idea of Messiah was that he was going to come and kick the Romans out, right? He was going to establish himself on the throne of David. Judas was trying to force Jesus by betraying him to make Jesus go into action and do what he was expecting him to do. But Jesus never said he was doing that at all. Judas was there when Jesus said, I'm going to be betrayed into the hands of the Gentiles. I'm going to be killed. I'm going to rise again. He just said, she's done what she could to prepare my body for burial. It's very clear that Jesus understands the clock is ticking and the cross is in his immediate future. He's not hiding it. He's telling them plainly, guys, it's coming down. This is what's going to happen. It was necessary for Jesus to be betrayed, which means it was necessary for there to be a betrayer. And Judas is the one. Judas Iscariot was the betrayer of Jesus. And the only motive that the Gospels give us is money. Judas was more concerned about the security that money could buy than he was the spiritual reality of being faithful for servant of Jesus. And his indignant anger burst forth into this moment of action to go to the chief priests and scribes and say, hey guys, I can set this up for you. I can set this up for you. Why? Because this guy, he's not going to do what I want him to do. He's not who I thought he was. I thought I was going to be at the right hand of the king. Now he's talking about burials. I don't get it. So many people don't get it. And so many of us are more like Judas than we want to admit. We're not willing to walk in faith, to walk in dependence, to surrender our lives to Jesus. We're much more comfortable if we've got a nice little bit of money to fall back on. If God doesn't come through, I've got some money. So that's Judas. And that's not what we're called to do. Think about that. See you next time. Hey friends, I sure hope you're enjoying this casual stroll through the Gospel of Mark. And if you'd like to know more about me and what I'm doing, check out my website, theeclecticmonk.com. There you'll find all kind of other stuff that I've been doing. And I really hope that you'll share this Bible study with the people around you. Till next time, God bless you.